Chaz Wilson. How you doing?
Good, Tim. How are you?
Who wouldn't want that name? I would.
I love it. Yeah. Yeah, thank you.
How'd they get that name? Do you have any idea? Your first name?
So I really don't. The only thing I know about it is that when my parents were married, they were in Southern California in a city called Covina. And there was a place called Covina Health and Spa, and it was those initials. And I don't know if somehow that is how the name, but my mother talked about that briefly when I was a little kid. I never really wanted to know what's that? Go ahead.
No, that's wild. Covina is not too far from where we are right now.
Yeah. Yeah. That's how it came about.
Yeah. And it's working for you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. So let me tell you some of the things I like about him. Husband and father of not one, not two, not three, not four, but how many?
5 children, 5 kiddos.
5.
Yes, sir.
You know where they are right now, Chaz?
No, they're all over. They're everywhere. Yeah, they're everywhere. It's summertime. They're everywhere. They're at camps, football practice. My daughter's in dance. They're everywhere. It's busier in the summer than during school.
My assistant Joseph, he's got about that many kids too, but he always knows where they are too.
Man, yeah,
it's kind of fun, right? Tell us one of the things that's fun about having 5 kids.
You know what's fun about having 5 kids is that first of all, they always keep me on my toes, right? And the thing is that it's interesting. My wife, if it wasn't for health reasons, she'd probably have 10 children. She just is such a great mother, loves it. I love it too because the different stages, right? I've got one that's going to turn 17, and my younger 2 are twins, and they're 9. And so because I have 5, I still get this, like, the longevity of the stages, right? Like, I've got them in all these different stages, and it's just a blast. They just bring such joy to my life.
Let me ask you a question about that, because some parents think certain ways. With some of the challenges that the world is going through, you're still optimistic, aren't you, about your children can have an amazing future?
That is such a good question, Tim. I am very optimistic. Of course, I'm concerned about things, right? I'm concerned about what's around them and the influences, et cetera. But here's the thing is that I'm optimistic because I see my children following the people that I'm around. You know quick note on this. My son, all of my kids have done this, but my son came to me the other day and he listens to podcasts and personal development stuff. And
my goodness.
He's 12. And he's listening to people that have been on your show, I'm sure. Yeah. And that's why I'm optimistic, because they're learning how to surround themselves with the good noise, the good things that come in, the self-improvement, and they're following a good path.
You just said that perfectly. Is that, see, I believe that one can blaze a trail and be a pioneer that others can then follow that road.
Yes.
And so I see this in, like, powerful families that I've been around, where one guy or lady blazes a trail, and then the children's children come through it, the relatives come through it.
So true.
Dog on it. Let's blaze a trail and let other people follow. So I don't think that our kids have to go through the same noise as everybody else.
Yeah.
Because of association, the power of association.
Yeah, so true. I'm optimistic because I see that the power of relationship building, I do see that that's becoming more and more of a challenge for the younger kids because of technology. Some of those challenging skills for them to connect with each other. But I see with my children in particular, I'm working so much. We go out to eat. I'm like, no, don't look at me and order your food. Talk to the nice man or woman who's there. Learn how to interact. Tell them what you like. Assert yourself. Those kinds of skills that I think are becoming lost, quite honestly. And that's why I'm optimistic for my children, because they're learning those connection and communication skills.
I love it. Chaz, let me give you a proper introduction. Not only is he a husband and father of 5, he's a CEO, okay? And you're a CEO of companies. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so our parent company is a company called Master Networks, and it's a business networking organization. We're nationwide, where we believe in building relationships, multiplied by education, and then some referrals and business happens. That's a byproduct. But what we're really based on is knowing that you need a network. You can't build in isolation anymore. Social networking is great, but it's connections. It's things like this that build and insulate you. And that's what we do with Master Networks.
Now, the speaking and the author side of you, when did you write your last book? How long ago was that?
My last book was a little over a year ago, and my first book was almost 4 years ago.
Okay, so it's been a while. So the title of the last book is what?
The last book was called Now Make Good.
Okay.
And my first book, for those who are watching, I don't know if your people watch or listen, but my first one's over my shoulder here. It's called 5+1, The Entrepreneur's Formula for Success. And then again, my second book was called Now Make Good.
So I want to tell you that I've always been a fan of that book cover. Look at that book cover again. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't design things. I'm so bad at it, but I had a great person design that for me.
So the speaking, the author, the podcast, okay, and it's been a privilege to be around you. We hang out in the same kind of network.
Yeah, likewise.
The speaking thing, if you were to speak for a company, Chaz, what's the main thing you usually are asked to talk about?
Man, that's such a good question, Tim. People know that I speak, but they don't often ask me, what do you speak about? Very simple. And sometimes people have a hard time like, that's what you speak about? What I speak about is building relationships.
Yeah.
Building relationships, because everything in my life of any significance has come through a relationship.
Yes.
My 5 children, my significant other, my businesses, my partners, right? It's things that I have in life that are significant, that mean something to me, are through the power of relationships. And I think, as I started, and I said a little bit ago, I think even as adults, it's becoming a lost skill. We become so transactional that we lose the relational piece of what we do. And so what I go in and help companies understand, and people, entrepreneurs, is how to take relationship building to a bigger level, to connect with people and just watch it, build a security blanket around you and your company. Okay.
So really think about this question, okay? What does it mean to you to be the best in your field? Like a lot of people, male and female, they want to be the best. So you're a young guy, you're coming up, people are recognizing you. It's your time, but you're even rising higher. What does it mean to be the best?
That is a really good question that for me, what it means to be the best is be consistent and add value to people's lives. I've found so often, I had an early stage, Tim, where I would share the stage with people who were great speakers. And I kind of tried to emulate that at times or mimic things. And I found it wasn't me authentically. And I found if I was consistent in who I was, authentic is often, authentically me. And I always look to add value to somebody's life first in whatever way that is. Sometimes it's very simple. Sometimes it's a longer thing to do. That has helped me be who I am. And I'm just going to keep doing that because it's working and not try to be something outside of that. And that's what's helped me be the best at what I do.
That's what I pick up from you. And by being someone who knows you, I think that being the best is similar to the way I think is to be your best. Like if I'm speaking on stage with any number of these speakers that we hang out with, if the guy in front of me blows the stage up, I'm happy for him. I literally feel zero competition to do better. Zero.
That is so good, because there was a day where I may not have been even younger than now, where I was like, oh, me. No, if I can be me and consistently me every time authentically in my best self, then I can be that all the time. I don't have to be like on or off. I can always be me. And that's what makes me the best at what I'm doing.
Yeah. And I think because for me, and I think it's again, similar for you, is that I know that I'm really good in my space, in my area.
Mm-hmm.
I'm good in my area. So I think if you stay in your lane and you become a master of your area, then that's what you're owning. Yeah. So if somebody brings you to a conference, they're bringing you not to be Gary Vee, they're bringing you to be you. And you're the best you all day long, right?
That was a hard lesson to learn, but yes.
Yeah. Okay. Talk to me. I'm just going to ask you 2 more questions. Talk to me about stress. Now you're this guy, you got 5 kids, you got a wife, you have businesses, you're going to write new books. You may have your own talk show. All these things are happening in your life. So talk to me about stress. What is it? What's it like? How do you deal with it?
It's a constant improvement. I'm still learning how to deal with it, right? But I'm very disciplined in my day. And I have learned over time that it's just about constantly improving and not stress. Like I'll tell you just a really quick story. When I remember being like 22 years old, and I was a new real estate agent at that time, and I was closing my first house, and at the closing table, it was all falling apart. And I was with some experienced real estate agents who had the other client, and they came in, they said, Jazz, take a deep breath. It's going to be all right. And they sat down and they walked them through it, and it all came together. And that was a great lesson for me in that moment to go, there's always another day. It's never as bad as I think. It's never as good as I think either.
Yeah.
So I, number one, have that mindset. Number two, I'm consistent in my day. And number three, I balance it with family time. I put my phone away. I shut down, because if there's a problem, it's going to show up tomorrow. It'll be there. And I spend time with those that help me stay grounded. It's one thing to go speak on a stage and then walk home and my wife's like, all right, the trash needs to go out, right? That helps me keep that stress level down and just be present with the people that mean the most to me.
I like that. Chaz, you're a good man.
Thank you.
Last question. This is World Shakers, talking to Chaz Wilson. My friend, Chaz, tell me as an adult, a time where you can say you were actually proud of yourself.
Cool.
That something happened, and maybe you didn't even tell your wife, you didn't tell your best friend, your mother, or anybody else, and you were proud of yourself. Okay,
so this is quick. I already know what it is really fast. Easy came to me. But I'm gonna take a deep breath because it's tough. When I grew up as a kid, growing up in Southern California, pale white skin, red hair, I got picked on all the time. And I was super incredibly shy. And the very first event we had that I had to get on stage, I had a panic attack. No one really knows that.
Wow.
I mean, I was literally like, I was the main keynote and I couldn't go on stage. And my wife came backstage and she knows how shy I am. Oh, it's hard. And she came backstage and she gave me a kiss and she's like, look, you'll be all right. And I said, okay, I need to know where you guys are sitting because I cannot make eye contact with you guys. And she said, we have seats in the front row.
Whoa.
And I was like, okay, the only thing I'm thinking, they're playing music, they're introducing me, and I'm coming up through the stage and I'm thinking, do not look at that front row. Just don't make eye contact. So where do my eyes go? Back row. And somewhere in the moment from the time she told me till they went out to their seats, they got moved to the back row.
Yeah.
And that same young man that I told you, my son who listened to those podcasts, he was 9 at the time. He's sitting in that back row and I take the stage, people are standing up cheering. And in that moment, my son is in the back and he's like this.
Wow.
Thumbs up, just grinning from side to side. And I went, he has no idea what I just came through, but he's as proud as can be that his dad is on stage doing what he does. And it changed my world forever. I realized I don't have to tell my kids what I do. I get to do life with my kids. And I was so proud of myself that I overcame it, because if I hadn't, he wouldn't have had that moment with me, right? So
yes.
It touches me.
No, that's huge. Many times people don't know what it took to get to the moment you're in now.
Yeah.
They see, and you're a sharp-looking guy. You got the book behind you. You got a wife. You got 5 kids. You're doing well, and you're on the rise even more. But there's been a lot of battles to even get to this point.
Yeah.
If you had to do it all over again, you'd do this again, wouldn't you?
Absolutely, 100%.
It's go uphill.
Every time. Time.
All right, Chaz, tell us about how to find you.
Yeah.
And share with us how to find out more information.
So you can go to masternetworks.com. You can learn about Master Networks if you're interested in networking and meeting new people in your local community. I believe business is local. And then you can find me, Chaz Wilson, ChasWilson, on Facebook, Chaz Wilson CEO, on Instagram, YouTube, and find me there.
Talking to my friend on World Shakers, the Chaz Wilson.
Thank you, Tim.